Hi, this is Bill Brady, One United Body, talking today on the topic practical tips for your journey. This is going to be a brief 10 minutes. Two practical tips based on my experience and the experience of others. One is it's good early on to find a partner to pair up. Jesus sent out the 12 when they were training. He sent them out in pairs. And I have observed that people that work in pairs uh, take good care of each other, and they're able to launch out into accepting responsibility, into uh, facilitating groups, facilitating encounters. They're able to enter into new territory easier when there's two of them working together than when there's just one. Jane and I work together as a pair. We currently have 10 on the One United Body bench of 12, and 8 of those folks work in pairs. I've seen others pair up early on in their journey when they first came into Heavenly Realms, and they meet regularly by Zoom, which you can do for free to use the Zoom basic app. It's good for, I think, 45 minutes or something like that for groups, and unlimited time if you just have two people talking to one another. So pairing up in pairs is one practical tip. It makes the early parts of the journey easier, and it makes the journey into facilitating and fathering easier, because if you're working as a team of two and you're doing something new, if one of you doesn't have anything to say at the moment, the other can step in and talk. Only has to have one of you that knows what to do at a given moment. Second tip, it's good early on to become part of an encounter group. Now, you're going to want to actually attend some encounter groups to get an idea of what an encounter group is and how they function. Encounter group is where you begin to function in revealing of mysteries as a group, doing an encounter in heavenly realms as a group. And the advantage I see of starting your own encounter group early on is that you grow up with the group. People that come to my groups, and I try to get them into functioning, I frequently have difficulty because when I'm working with people, I jump in there very easily and father. And you do need some fathering, but you don't need a lot of fathering. What you need to do is step out and start doing it on your own. That was why I was encouraging you to start working as a team of two. But being part of an encounter group, I've been part of the group meeting on Wednesdays, Heavenly Realms, New Heaven and New Earth Lovers bench for probably 3 or more years at this point. We meet on a weekly basis and encounter and dialogue together. It's not just an encounter group, we also dialogue. But point being, that group has grown up together over many years. We still have people joining us new all the time, but my point is, you can come to my fathering / encounter groups, which I recommend, but you can also get dependent on other people. And you end up bringing into the new wineskin a tendency from the old wineskin to sit in the pews and let somebody else do the teaching, the preaching, and your job is to sit there and receive, and their job is to stand up there and give. And that is not the new wineskin. The new wineskin is that all of us have the ability to function in all of these things, each of us individually and each of us as part of a group. So I highly recommend pairing up, so asking the Lord for another person to work with as a team of two, And that can just begin with conversations back and forth and chatting on Facebook Messenger. It's another thing about working as a team of two is you hold each other accountable when you ask each other to be held accountable. So I'm working with somebody and they say, hold me accountable. Okay, then I will. You have someone to go to for advice. You're not doing all the seeing yourself. You don't have to have all the answers yourself. You go together to get answers together. Okay, so those two areas pair up early on in the journey and start an encounter group as a group early on in the journey. Now, the two of you that are paired up can be the core of an encounter group. And it will eventually become a platform for your fathering as well at some point. But you do not have to have the answers. You just need to go together to get the answers together. So those two things. Now, I have three major mandates that I'm sensing that I have, that I'm majoring on right now. One is raising up apostles, calling people to the name of apostle and getting them started on apostle. So if you've got a call as an apostle, please consider joining my Patreon. There are, it's a whole section on apostle, 20 plus articles and videos on apostle, and there's revelation there that you won't find anyplace else. There's revelation there that you only find in a few other places, and there's revelation there you will not find anyplace else. The second mandate that I have an emphasis on is overcoming. I'm seeing the absolute essential need to overcome, and part of that is engaging the revelation of Jesus Christ, because the revelation of Jesus Christ reveals to us how to overcome as a king. And so I would highly recommend that you set overcoming as a goal for your life, for your personal journey. And if you have interest in that, I do have a bi-weekly Tuesday group meeting that's looking into the revelation of Jesus Christ. I'm actually facilitating him through it, vision by vision. I see each of the visions in the revelation of Jesus Christ as one that we are meant to actually turn into an encounter and experience for ourselves. And that's part of what I'm doing is that. So there's a lot of encountering going on, but there's also some impartation and fathering going on, some teaching going on. The third mandate that I have a big emphasis on, besides apostle and overcoming, is New Jerusalem. New Jerusalem is the end of the scriptures, and the scripture says that the Spirit and the bride say, "Come." You really need to take a look at New Jerusalem. I see it as central to your journey. I see it as the blueprint for the new ecclesia. I see it as essential for moving into life, journeying into life. And so I highly recommend emphasizing New Jerusalem. And again, on my Patreon, there's a group that meets on Tuesday nights, every two Tuesday nights on Tuesday. The current one, a group is finishing up this next week, and a new group will be starting 2 weeks after that. So if you have interest in any of those three mandates, please consider my Patreon. Tier 2, $10 per month US, gets you access to those groups, the New Jerusalem group and the Revelation group for overcoming. I call it Kingly Journey. Also many articles and many recordings, videos. Everything on there is my revelation or that of the OUB fathers. You will also find that there are many free articles on that and on the Patreon as well. So make you aware of that. And you can find me on Patreon. Just look up Bill Brady on Patreon. You'll find me. So consider these opportunities, but more importantly, please consider making overcoming one of your goals, making coming into New Jerusalem, going to look and then entering into New Jerusalem as one of your goals, and making apostle something that you investigate if you don't already have a call. Bye for now.